now we go to Mr. Bert-Ola Bertrand from Sweden. He's in Norway now.
Thank you very much.
Let me introduce Mr. Bert-Ola Bertrand from Sweden. Are you in Norway now?
I'm in the heart of Norway right now, but it's very close to Sweden, you know.
Yeah, very close, yeah. Bert-Ola Bertrand is a systems entrepreneur and global action facilitator. He is initiator of co-founder and founder of a number of international platforms and networks in the field of impact economy. He's going to speak today about impact economy. For example, impact journey, and he will speak about his journey around the world for this one. SOCAP network, social capital market networks, Catapult Future Fest, and Catapult Learning. He will explain about this Catapult Learning. All initiatives are focusing on amplifying the human potential through multi-capital sources and thereby solving global challenges, including SDGs, yes?
Yeah, hopefully.
Today, he is primarily working with the UN, United Nations Center of Excellence on smart, sustainable cities. Wise cities?
That is next step, I think.
Yeah, next step, wise cities. Yeah, we are working on wise cities. This is in Trondheim city, yeah, in Norway, yes, in establishing a learning society. Yes, please, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's fantastic to be here. And I have already learned a lot from the previous presentations that I feel that yesterday evening, I was like bubbling in my mind of the ideas that came out, and I see already some things that I can put into practice. So I didn't know exactly what to speak about today, so maybe I can start. I guess this will be multiple times ahead. So I start by introducing me a little bit, and then I share some slides, and if some slides look interesting, I can explain them a bit more. And I have a lot of slides there. But like I said, you introduced me. I call myself a systems entrepreneur. And if you go to my Facebook wall, it's connecting people, passion, purpose, and places. And that's very much of what I do. So I think people and, trying to do something greater than yourself has a bit of my philosophy in life. As long as I can remember, always I was a bit of wanted to be in the community or do something in whatever in the sport with the football team or doing things together with other people. So that's sort of my passion. Also the context, I think most of you, there are no people right now from Scandinavia. Maybe some of you have been up here, but I come from a small village in the north of Sweden. So of course that gives a bit of understanding and background of who you are. It's not a big city, it's 600 people, very dark winter time. And of course that's, it's not a multi-million city in New York or Rio de Janeiro or London or something. This is a small community where things work reasonably well. So that's also, I guess, important to have in mind that we are sitting up here in a bit of, you can say, safe environment if you look at the global issues right now. But very early, I had the opportunity to, through my grandmother who inspired me, she was a teacher or she had a library in a local community. So I heard a lot of like wisdom stories and people from the village telling about how they grew the communities and the ways of living. So I love that when I grew up to sit and listen to the stories. I think that inspired a lot of what I'm doing today, 40 years later. I'm around 50 now. And yeah, so around 18 years of age, I started to travel the world. I was working in the forest industry. My father was a sawmill manager. And I got the chance to work and earn some money and then to travel to see things and to explore. And so that really drew me to know more about culture and people. So there is something out here, and to do, yeah, to see what's going on in Tunis, what's going on in Singapore, what's going on in Thailand and other places. And around 30 years of age, I started at university, quite late in many parts of the world, but up here in Scandinavia, it's quite average, I would say. 28 years of age, you start. And I went to a business school in Gothenburg and started a PhD after many years in finance and accounting. But after a few years, I came into more, how do we build a sustainable society? So, and that's a big question I'm still doing. I'm still on this journey, 15 years now in November. So it's a bit of celebrations. I've been 15 years of a learning journey, exploring these different fields. And the last 8-9 years, I've been very much exploring the spaces between digital and physical spaces. So that's a bit of my personal story. Let me try to share some slides here. See if it works. I have it on my computer. So I'm looking there. Can you see? Yes. So there you can see a little bit about my background there, and it gives a bit of feeling of who I am and what I'm trying to do. I'm connecting people and trying to get something out of there, very much focusing on the people. Listening to the other people and presenters, I think I will come later a bit into model, which we call the Learning Society. It's a few minutes down. But I take my starting point 2008, when I was in the region of West Sweden with Gothenburg as the largest city, if you know that. It's the second largest city in Sweden. And they want I would say the Scandinavian approach, it seems to me, it's a bit logical to some extent. We speak sometimes about spirituality and healing and like that, but it's quite rational society in my feeling when I go to other places. And around 2008, we started a project called Dynamic Growth Capital. So it was really about what role can social capital have for building a better society, both like a theory and practice. So that was where I really got dug into this field of multi-capital that I will come into. We worked in the region, connecting, of course, academics, business, civil society, trying to get theory and practice together and make better use of it. We didn't use the word of wisdom a lot, but it was very, getting the business association and Volvo and the big companies that you might have heard about, Ericsson we have in Sweden, and trying to get a bit of understanding of each other. In 2000, a few years later, I wrote a lot of reports, maybe 10 reports around this. I can share something later. Then I saw this image from India, and you might have heard about it. It's in northeast India. It's called Meghalaya, the Living Bridges. And at that time, I was like, it was feeling a bit instrumental in Scandinavia to work like, okay, how do we connect the businesses and different actors? So I said, this sounds like the future. This is the combination of, if you haven't, you can Google Living Bridges on YouTube. It's connecting people, it's connecting generations. It can stand for hundreds of years. So it became a metaphor for a community I started to build, which I called Living Bridges Planet. So for you, I guess most of you here in the call are sort of living bridges, and that was a vision I wanted to build. Like, I want to connect people around the world who are really living their passion, who facilitate, if you call it wisdom and different resources in society and want to do something.